Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing blue-white control with no reserve list cards. You can build this deck for like $1,000. The reason it's so expensive is freaking Quantum Riddler is really, really expensive right now. But this deck is sweet because it features Quantum Riddler, which is a new card from the Warp set, and it features Phelia, Exuberant Shepherd. And they work together like PB and Jam. You attack with Phelia and you're able to exile a permanent, even if that was warped, and then it comes back. You get the ETB trigger, which in this case is drawing a card, and the Quantum Riddler does not warp out because it's a different instance of the Quantum Riddler. Very powerful interaction. Phelia can also blink our favorite Planeswalkers, Teferi and Narset for value, and then we just jam this into a really good back to basics control shell. So we have back to basics here, of course, and then we also have the 4 plows, the 4 spell pierces, the 4 forces, the 4 solitudes, tons of interaction. In the sideboard, we have even more. We've got 2 prismatic endings, which are very good against 1-drops. This deck doesn't have a third color, so we can't get like planeswalkers with these generally. We have Wrath of the Skies, which just sweeps our big greedy opponents' board away if they're on like Karnforge or if they're on the big tokens deck. We've got 4 Force Negations respecting combo. We don't have Thoughtseize in a blue-white deck, unfortunately. We've got 3 Blue Elemental Blast effects. I've got 4 Consigns. I think this is the way that you beat the big mana decks. This is the way that you beat Karnforge. This is also exceptional against Eldrazi. And then I've got a Lavinia, whom I haven't played for a while, but she seems like a really good fit for the deck and really good against a lot of like Omniscience type strategies. So we're going to jam her. All right, so please enjoy this league. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. The first round has already started. We're up against a fan of the channel, Tribin. I have no idea how to pronounce their name. They have been doing post-ban Breakfast, which is very cool. I'm a Breakfast enthusiast, and I was so glad that they got rid of Nadu because I think Breakfast is fine without Nadu, and it's a lot more fun to play against because you don't have to also worry about the Nadu. This is a fine hand. We're going to keep this. So turn 1 Tamio, put them to the test. If they have the dream that you have as a Breakfast player of turn 1 A, turn 2 B, then we will have to plow out of respect rather than playing Tamio. And they will have that in approximately 16% of hands. But they also, like, it's slightly less than that because they also have the mana for that. I'm going to just plow Tamio. I'm not going to mess around with her. I know that Plow is our best card against their deck, but she just does tons of disgusting things if you leave her on the table. Please don't daze this. Okay, we got a Tamio kill, the first of many probably in this league. And of course, as you can see, we have our own Tommy that's coming out next turn to put them to the test. They're brainstorming. Well, they did mold the 6, so it's possible they didn't find a land, and it is unlikely that they're going to get brainstorm locked. They played 20 lands in most Breakfast decks. So I expect them to play a land here unless they're exceptionally unlucky. Our deck does not have any way of pressuring mana other than back to basics, which Breakfast, now that it doesn't have to play a third color really, is usually, like, it does technically play a single Underground Sea, so it can cast Cabal Therapy. But, and so it can make Prismatic Endings more powerful, so it can hit for 3 colors instead of just 2. But in general, they're able to play like 2 islands and a plains. They're taking a while on this brainstorm, though. But they are a combo player, so a lot of their decisions are compressed at the beginning. Okay, in Undercity Sewers. Okay, so they actually played 2 black sources. And that is so you can actually cast the Dread Return. Okay, Phelia is a great rip. I still want to... Well, I have creatures covered. Actually, Solitude is so insane here. I think we can just put them to the test because we have Phelia and Solitude. Like, I would love to get Phelia cooking. I don't really have anything to cook with her. I think I'm going to play Tamio. They don't have white up, so it's likely that we're going to get at least a 2-for-1 here. And the most important thing against Breakfast is always have removal up. Because they're a creature-based combo, and you can disrupt. And right now, we can pay for the days as well. This is fine. This is a 1-for-1. And this means that Phelia herself is not going to get plowed most likely. Okay, that's great. I'm just going to play it like this, and I don't want to get dazed. And I have Brainstorm if I absolutely need to find a Force or a Spell Pierce, but unfortunately, if I Brainstorm, I'm not going to find a Spell Pierce. So I'm going to do end step Phelia here. And I'll just go like this. And if they have a plow, it's a bummer. We don't have anything to blink, but we could find something to blink. They forced that. The respect. That's fine. We're not going to be desperately digging to protect our own spells. We're going to be digging to stop theirs. That's a good rip. We do have a lot of cantrips here. I think we could probably wait on this brainstorm. The later in the game you brainstorm, the better it is. These cards are absolutely insane. Spell Pierce is great. Plow. So Narset's going to be good. We do need to deal with these constructs, but we're actually not that far from casting Solitude. So I want to put the Spell Pierce in my hand, I think. Because I can dig for the plow if I need the plow. But I can't dig for the Spell Pierce with if I have to tap my lands. Yeah. So we'll do it like that. This is a great ponder. All right. And we'll pass. So again, we do have stack interaction in the form of Spell Pierce. I think most likely they're just going to create constructs here, though. I don't think they're going to rush. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to clear... We're not going to be able to use Tamiyo to the fullest. Narset to the fullest when they have constructs threatening us. Now I'm thinking, okay, do I just want to brainstorm to get deeper into my deck so I can find a land? I'm going to ponder to find a land. I'm not worried about taking too much damage from these Urza Sagas. Our opponent is low in resources, which means they probably can't, like, even if they have the Cephalid Illusionist, they're going to be going off with Shuko, which can be interrupted by Source Suppliers. So I don't necessarily want this Narset right now. I'd rather just find a land. Teferi is quite good, but we have to wait till their constructs are out before we use him. I think what I do is I do want this Teferi, but I'm going to make my land drop. We're going to chill, and we're going to have Solitude in like a turn. But what I'll do is I'll Teferi, I'll bounce one of them, I'll draw a card, and then I can, potentially even plow. Teferi is a huge comfort blanket, though. So here comes the first of the two constructs. Actually, I am going to fetch here. I'm not going to let them get me, so I will shuffle away Teferi. Unfortunately, I'm not going to risk them Pithing Needling. But like, what are the odds they would play Pithing Needle main deck? I don't think it's that high. It'll be embarrassing if they do it, but it's not the end of the world. I'll still have 4 mana. They ban a Nomad. Okay, so they're going to go get Shuko. So I don't need to fetch. I feel confident they're going to get Shuko here. And they are creating the construct. And I probably I don't want to burn a plow on this. I think I just take the damage. I've learned through a lot of losses against this deck that you just don't worry about your life total, like worry about them comboing you later. They still have 2 cards in hand. Yeah. I'll take this. Come on, play a spell that I can pierce. Nope. Tough crowd. All right. I mean, here, like, they could be playing Bowmasters, but I plow. I don't think they're playing Bowmasters. It's uncommon. I do want to get rid of the Spell Pierce. It's pretty bad. Yeah, let's try this. Like, when they have 4 mana out and their combo is creature-centric, I think you get rid of this. I don't want this Hallowed Fountain. I do want the Teferi, and I don't want the Narset. And then I'm going to go ahead and shuffle here. And the reason I don't want that other... I'm going to Surveil, actually. And I'll get deeper into my deck. They're not going to disrupt my mana. So what we're looking for off this archive is another plow, ideally. That way I can Teferi... Oh, that's pretty good, too. I think I actually just play these out. Yeah, and I'll Teferi later. So I could, in theory, both Solitude and Teferi. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them attack me. And then, I mean, they could have days and it'd be embarrassing, but it's not like I would die. So what I'll do is I'll Solitude the big one and I'll trade with this one. And we'll get them permanent free. And I'm tapped out of Spell Pierce, unfortunately. So let's clear the big one. Actually, yeah, I give them 1 less life if I clear here. And this still dies. Yeah, I'll do that. It's those little minor decisions. Okay, that felt amazing. Now, if they have the combo plus days, I'm dead. They don't. That is a relief. Land, always welcome up in the Be Excellent residence. I think this is our turn. Let's just slow them down a little bit. I'll just bounce the Shuko back to hand so they have to replay it. That ties up their mana a little bit in case they want to do other ambitious things. Another Solitude. I think we're in the driver's seat here. Because I can just keep... Like, they're not threatening Teferi, so he'll stick around. This is where you want to be against Breakfast. We have Pierce for their interaction, because they're probably going to need to use a lot of mana here. They do have another land. Okay, I'm just going to chill and be patient. Tommy has a great rip. She is definitely pressure in the form of, I'm going to get so far ahead in cards that you'll never win. Okay, they don't seem to have the plow for it. Well, they can't cast plow during their turn, so that doesn't mean anything. They do maybe have a second Surveil land. Yeah, well, they've already got both their Surveils out. Double blue. This could be Murktide, which is not a big deal. I'll just Solitude it. I can even end step Solitude around days. Murk was adopted by the Eternal Weekend people, and it's cynical that, like, really Murk in a deck that like has zero synergy with Murk, but Murk is just a broken card fundamentally. I would not mind if they banned it. I'm not saying they should ban Murk, but like it never should have been printed, frankly. It's way too powerful. And blue does not deserve the best, like one of the best beaters should not be blue. So those are my 2 cents on it. I play Murk all the time on the channel, but like it was disappointing that like Stoneforge Mystic is not good enough to be in that deck anymore. I think they concede here. Okay. Not yet. Back to basics will probably prompt a concession. It is going to be pretty brutal for them. Okay, and they are not tapping out, so we're going to keep coming in for damage. And generating card advantage, gaining life, slowly whittling away their life total. This Teferi is really the death knell. They can fetch a plains here. So all is not catastrophic, but it is pretty catastrophic when you consider the fact that I've got Spell Pierce. And this is like, Spell Pierce and Back to Basics are very synergistic because Spell Pierce is amazing in the early game, but it gets worse in the late game. But Back to Basics extends its life considerably. I love these animal set planes. Prismatic Ending. I can't save her. That's fine. I could have like Spell Pierce to tap down one of their lands. I don't think that's where we want to be. We already got a 2-for-1. And yeah, I'll just crack a clue in the end step. Oh wait, I don't want to tap my non-basic there. Okay. And this is kind of like just extra time. Again, I feel like extremely confident this game is over. I will be incredibly shocked if I lose from here. It will cause much introspection. And I'm just going to wait and see if they put out another thing so I can Solitude that. But like, they could do 3-color removal on this, but then I could just brainstorm and try to... Oh, I mean, I have double Pierce up, so they're not going to get anything through. All right, I'm not even going to cast spells. I don't want to use my clock. This is a clock-intensive match. Plus again. I may flash out the Solitude, even if they don't cast anything here. I don't know what's in their hand. It might be a bunch of interaction spells, like Dazes and Forces. It might be plows, and they're just like, do I really want to plow a Solitude? Okay, so this represents the second island. So they are kind of like slipping the grip of the Back to Basics a little bit. I think I do want to go ahead and just up the clock. I've got plenty of interaction here. So we're not going to be exiling anything here. We're just going to be hitting them for a ton. Phelia, pretty powerful. I can go ahead and minus here, and then I can Phelia next turn. I can do that during their turn, though. Yeah. Again, like, Phelia actually makes it lethal next turn, too. No, it'll be lethal the subsequent turn. If they saw my hand, they would weep. Because it's just, like, so much interaction. But they should probably assume, since I'm playing, like, Back to Basics control type deck, that it is just tons of interaction. All right, let's Phelia. All right, they are playing to the bitter end here. I will minus on nothing. Let's draw a card. I'll go ahead and play this out. I'll play out a Tomio, and I'll flipper, and I'll just totally style on them. It doesn't take that much time. Oh, am I exposing myself to any danger by doing this? I don't think I am. I've got triple Spell Pierce up. Okay, and I thought I could flipper, but I'm not going to brainstorm just to flipper. It's not a big deal. Teferi comes back in with full loyalty. So this is like a kind of card draw engine. Phelia plus Teferi. And I should emphasize, nobody owes you a concession. It is within your right So this, I will just pierce. They can't force this or anything. They have to actually pay for it. Okay, they're fetching to 1. I don't think they can still win if they pay for it, unless they have a land drop as well. Okay, they did not pay for it. Is this another orange chant? We'll pierce it. Okay, they got it. They didn't even know about the third pierce or the plow that would have... Like, I presume they were going to play Shuko. They didn't have white for Nomad. Okay. So against this deck, Lavinia stops the actual combo because counter spells that are free. So I think she comes in on that basis. I think Wrath of the Skies comes in. I love Prismatic Ending here. Let's talk about what we're taking out. Narset's not terrible. I mean, like pretty much our entire deck is really good against them. We could take out... I mean, if they're on the Orange Chant version, I am tempted to like leave in. I think we actually take it back to basics. I know it was good there, but like usually it's not going to matter. Narset does stop a lot of what they do, but it does require tapping out to play her. I'm not crazy about it. Quantum Riddler is actually, you have to tap out during your turn. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't want to take out Tomio because they play a lot of plows and prismatic endings, and she's a great distraction. Again, like I can understand people wanting to keep back to basics in, but they do have 1 plains and 2 islands, and that's all they need to win. They don't need the other mana. So I think I'll just accept the fact that Spell Pierce is going to go down in value as the game progresses, but I don't want to cut it. But like removal is much more powerful. Prismatic Ending is particularly good, and so is Wrath of the Skies at cleaning up the junk. I think I'm going to trim a Narset just because it does cost a lot of mana. I'm not going to trim Teferi because he's so important for managing the stack. I think I have to decide, like I don't want to go down land. I feel like making our land drops is very important in this deck. Our opponent's going to be making their land drops. They're on 20 lands. I think I'm going to take out a Quantum Riddler. And again, the reason is I know it's our win con, but you have to tap out for it, whereas you don't have to tap out for Solitude or these other cards. Like technically you have to tap out for Teferi, but that's like a very late game play. All right, we'll submit. I used all but 7 seconds of my clock, but it did receive my submission. Okay, this is a great hand. I love this hand. This is exceptional. So we have Solitude. This is staying alive is exiling creatures. Exile is life. They don't have any turn 1 plays. Also note that our clocks are at parity. So that's an important thing to monitor in these kind of grindy control combo decks, matchups. So I definitely think we just go ahead and Tomio here. I don't think it's going to be our undoing. We have Force blue card. And if it just immediately gets plowed, that's totally fine. But like my operating theory of how Legacy is played right now with Tomio in the meta is you just jam Tomio as soon as you possibly can, unless it's extremely dangerous to do so. That's fine. The card is fundamentally broken and it's only upside, basically. Like, I know I've said this so many times on the channel, but I really want to emphasize, if you feel like it's unfair when your opponent plays a Tomio and you don't immediately have a removal spell, it is unfair. It's not just you. I think everybody realizes this except for the people doing the bans at Wizards. Like, she definitely should have been banned in the previous cycle. Okay, so now we have Tomio Protection. Feeling good. And we still have a Force Pitch. But if they plow her or try to Prismatic in there, I will attempt to Brainstorm. Because I do have free interaction. And I will grab this Shock Land here. They're Prismatic Ending. And I am doing the extremely unfair and uncool thing that you're supposed to do with Tomio. And that is blanking what they're doing. I will grab Hollowed Fountain and I'll shock it in. And now I will attempt to Brainstorm. And my opponent could very well have Daze in their hand. It would make sense to do this because then they're like, well, at least I can Daze and I can play another spell. And they do. And that's fine. I'm still going to Brainstorm. Oh, wait. I don't get to Brainstorm and it does do it. But it's still a 2 for 2. Right? And now they're... I guess it didn't really set back their development anymore because I think they're Brainstorm locked. Okay. But it was worth trying. They didn't necessarily have the Daze. Okay. And now we're just chilling. But we're chilling with like Plow Up. in a similar boat as our opponent is. We have more lands. This is fine. Okay, wow, they're brainstorm locked. That's catastrophic for them. If we can draw some lands, we can really take advantage of this. I'm going to try to get Quantum Riddler online as soon as possible, or a Phelia. I think we keep that. I know it's like a defensive posture thing. No, I need to advance my board. Executive decision. We're going to advance our board. We have double Solitude to protect. I don't care about Force. I'll Force maybe someday. If they have a Ponder, that's fine. I wouldn't have been able to stop that. The surveil, like this was just checking the top card, so it's not like we got to get the Spell Pierce in the hand. Obviously, Spell Pierce would be good if it were in our hand right now, but it wouldn't have been. Okay, they found their island. All right. So again, this game is going to get harder as they develop their resources, but we did find Riddler, which is absolutely cracked in this match. So we're going to do it. And hopefully we're going to find land and we're going to start casting these out. That resolves 2 for 1. Plains. All right, let's go. One more and we got it. But I'm not going to cast him from exile until I feel very confident. You can consign his trigger if you bring your consigns in. That is fine. I'm going to attempt to plow it immediately. And they may have yet another brainstorm, but they've already used 2. I want to be mana efficient here. They could have Spell Pierce. They don't. All right. So again, the best case scenario is telling me I was a 1 for 1. Okay, we drew another plow. That's fine. I'm going to chill for another turn cycle. I'm just waiting for more lands. I'm glad I didn't take a land out. I'm used to taking lands out in tempo decks, but it would have been a mistake here. We are a very mana hungry deck. So we've got 2 points of interaction for their combo. They've only got 3 mana. If they Orange Chant, it's actually pretty scary. And that is something their deck can do that we just can't interact with. Yeah, Ponder. Like, so that is a situation where we do need stack interaction. But Orange Chant, Spell Pierce is great against Orange Chant because it ties up their mana on their turn that they have the chant bubble. So if they are able to assemble Orange Chant, like I can totally see why those decks started playing Orange Chant again. It's a really good card. I own 2 of them. I used to play it in my blue-white Breakfast deck. Breakfast is definitely weaker than it used to be when it had the crazy Nadu plan. Yeah, this is fine. I'll just plow this instep. And I can see why Murktide's being played now, because if you think about it, like this is just another thing that they have to remove, which reduces their removal for your actual cards that matter. And also it's very high mana value, so unfortunately my I have lots more answers where this came from, but I do want to go ahead and plow so that I can potentially Solitude if they force this. I don't want to die to this thing. It will kill me in 2 swings. Okay. All right, so a blue card for force or a land, please. Preferably both. I think I play it. We're down to just one point of stack interaction, but we need some sort of engine going. Round 2, we're up against a likely Cloud Post opponent with a hand that's not super relevant against them, but it's a decent hand. They usually take a few turns to spin up. Also, I want to apologize. Like, I think part of round 2 got like truncated. Like, it just OBS, the tool I used, just stopped recording. So yeah, but we won, and we did so in stylish fashion. Oh no, they're on freaking Eldrazi. Like Solitude might help us here. I will definitely take out. I don't think we take damage here. Oh, this? Is this worth killing? It is haste. They used 3 cards there. I think we go ahead and kill it. Like, I mean, there are definitely scarier things, but this is like the tip of the spear, and we will take 3 like every turn if we don't kill it. So I'm going to go ahead and kill it. Right? Yeah. Again, this card is like probably the weakest Eldrazi in the Eldrazi deck. Is a really cool looking art. Like most Eldrazi art, it's like reality warping, surrealism. Okay. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and ponder, and we are looking specifically for plows. And Back to Basics is an insane hammer that we can play. I'm going to keep these. I don't want the ponder. I will play Tomio next turn, and then I will Back to Basics them. And hopefully they won't be able to wiggle out of that, but they probably will. Their deck is very scary. So the goal is to get Back to Basics before they get lethal power on the table. Damn, that's a lot of freaking power. Is this yep, thought it. Well, they're not going to see our back to basics, but they may take our Tamio. Phelia is a blocker. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they take. But we're going to need to clear this. Okay, they just took a Brainstorm. Interesting. Well, I'm going to play the Tamio out and use her to block some of this incoming. Hopefully they don't have another Thought-Knots here. That would be devastating. Yeah. We're just going to chill with Tamio. Does it make more sense to play a Phelia in the end step? I think I'm going to play a Tamio. It has more absorptive power. If like they have like some 2-drop. If they bounce her to hand, it's not that big of a deal. I do want to shuffle away the Ponder on top in favor of finding something. Yeah, leave a comment with the timestamp if you disagree with my decision. Oh, they're tapping out completely. Come on, tap out completely. No, don't do it. Fleshbreaker, that generates tons of mana, unfortunately. So they probably will be fine even with back to basics out. What is this? K-Command? I didn't think about K-Command and the fact that like it is more mana intensive. Ouch. Yeah, that is... Oh, it's just one. So we take one ping and they're going to exile our dude. Yeah, this sucks, but it's manageable. All right. This is a freaking street fight from here on out. We're taking a lot of damage. We're taking 4. We're taking 6 next turn, but I am going to back to basics them and shut down their lands. And I don't have time to draw Ponder, so we're not going to. We're going to go ahead and get our White Source here. I love these planes, by the way. All right, that is unfortunate, but maybe it will find us a plow. We need to plow probably this. I mean, what to plow? They're both so devastating. They have another tomb. So they have 3 mana. Oh, and they have a pedal too. Wow. Like we're just not doing anything to impede this incredible aggressive deck. This is the new aggro deck in town. Oh, and they have the freaking enchantment removal. Insane. Absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed here. Okay. This is a real deck. You need to be ready for this, and we are. We're going to bring in Consigns. We're going to take out Spell Pierce. It's terrible against their deck. Prismatic Ending can clear Chalice. We do have enough 1-drops that I think that's worth it. And, I mean, back to basics, just getting destroyed like that was humiliating. Narset comes out. Teferi comes out. These are just simply too slow. we got like a turn 3 Goldfish. And that was despite like us presenting a blocker and presenting a lock piece. You can bring in Forced Negation here, but I don't think it's correct. We're going to do our best. Quantum Riddler is pretty big, but again, that doesn't stop them from like bouncing it or stealing it with the Obligator. It's terrifying. Yeah, this is a terrifying deck to face. Okay, this is a keep, but it's not a good keep. It's okay. It does technically have removal. I'm going to keep it. And we're probably going to have to... I'm going to Tamio first, just to get something on the table. Hopefully Tamio, again, her goal is to distract. We do have to fetch, like, most likely a shock land here, which really sucks against them, but I will do it so that we can get Quantum Riddler going. If we can flip Tamio, it's probably like a 2 or 3 turn distraction. But unfortunately, back to basics is probably going to have to get pitched to force because, this actually, we can block this. So this is fine. I might just get an island here since I have Solitude. I don't want to get locked under back to basics. It'd be humiliating. You want to hear like humiliating and cowardice? Like I'm actually seriously considering just blocking this thing. Like not creating a clue. I've got stuff to do for the next few turns anyway. So we'll warp, we'll see what we get. That's a good card that we can't currently cast. I think most likely we're going to need a Ponder next turn to find white, and then we're going to need to start plowing. This, I don't want to even take 2 damage. I know that sounds so cowardly, but it's true. Like the amount of respect I have for this deck in terms of its ability to kill out of nowhere. Is this the Thought-Knots here? It is. So they're going to almost certainly take a plow. I kind of want to just go ahead and get rid of this right now because we don't have white mana. It sucks. Maybe they take the back to basics, respecting the fact that we can Shadow Realm their mana base. Unfortunately, we do get the draw before, so they get to see what we draw and choose. So they're going to get another card to take a gander right here. Okay, it is a force. Unfortunately, that spell is already resolved. Okay, they get to steal one of our cards. Exile it forever. It's probably back to basics. Yeah, I think that was the right call. They don't have good attacks because we're disciplined. All right, let's see if we can get some white mana flowing. I'm going to attack and I'm going to flip her. That was a good draw. And then maybe we can find a plow here. Shield. Okay. And I do have a second back to basics that I could find, which would be very nice. Consign is delectable. I'm going to hold up Consign and I'll hold up Plow. In terms of putting things back on top, I would like to reserve the right to force here. We do have a clue we can crack in the end step if they don't do anything. I guess I could just put the Ponder on top. I'm not going to shuffle. Yeah, and then I could just clue crack to draw if I need it. But I want to have the option to Plow in case they just play some crazy haste beat out, which is possible. Or if they put Glaring Fleshraker, I want to Plow that. You're getting up there with mana. Okay, blue. What is this? Reality Smasher. Well, it's definitely better to counter this because we don't have to discard a card. It does not. Yeah, I'm going to just force and I'm going to hold up Consign for later. Because Consign is easier to cast. I mean, it does cost mana. So we could just Consign this and then, but I am kind of worried about like cards that have cast triggers. Like yeah. So I am going to just draw here and then I'll force pitch Ponder. And that means we are going to take a 1 point on Tamiyo, but that's not a big deal. I have no illusions of Tamiyo ultimating them. I guess we could try, but I think it's unlikely. So the top card is something we put back, right? It's another Tamiyo. Yeah, I'll just play her out. The blocker. The younger can defend the elder, as is the young men and women we're sending off to war to protect the old men. That's how it's always been. That's not a critique on like the current situation. That's just the critique on history. Okay, and that will be countered on the stack. I do not care to lose more of my cards. They scooped. All right, we got one against Eldrazi. I'm keeping my deck the exact same. All right, we're throwing back this no-lander. This is not great. I think we probably do need to keep Quantum Riddler. Just, I mean, if we ever... Yeah. Riddler is technically worse than Ponder and Brainstorm here. And if we ever get to 5 mana, we're going to want to be casting the Solitude. There are situations where you know, I'm going to put back Riddler. We're going to need these lands. What if I keep drawing lands, though? This hurts me when I play it, but it does give me the ability to Brainstorm Shuffle. Solitude could save our lives when we draw a white card. I think it's going to be the Riddler, though. I just don't want to put myself in a situation. I guess I could have put back the Plains is the other thing. Let's hope for a slow start, even though they never have a slow start. Petal. This could be Chalice, which would be catastrophic. I didn't think about that. Oh no, if this is Chalice, I'm going to feel so dumb. It looks like it's Chalice. Freaking heck. I'm so dumb. Why did I do that? I mean, like I could draw a Prismatic Ending. It's in my deck. Sure, deck. Sure. Thank you for finally, like, man, I don't deserve that. Let's go ahead and island here and just chill. I might not even want to take this damage. Okay, so next turn we're going to Prismatic Ending. We're already going to be several turns behind because we're paying 2 mana to remove that, but it will be a 2 for 1 since they spent the extra mana. Wow, they've got a pretty slow start. Another Petal. What if they Chaliced again? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Oh no, 4 mana? Oh, they're going to freaking Thought-Knot Seer my dude, my Prismatic Ending? That'd be humiliating. It looks like that's what they're doing. Ridiculous. Well, I'm going to go ahead and Solitude this. It's so disappointing. My hand does literally nothing. Oh my goodness. I am sorry, my excellent friends. I'm very sorry. Like, that was a huge punt putting back the thing. I mean, like I could have drawn through and like had this dude in warp, but instead, let's just hold on to a bunch of... Like, I definitely could have put back one of those. Okay, so we'll draw a card. They're going to take our Phelia for sure. Nothing else in our deck, in our hand, does anything. Yep. And we're sitting here with air in our hand. But they did go down to like one card for that. Okay. I'm not going to hold out any illusion that... Like, I probably actually should have fetched the Thin there. Because, like, Brainstorm is not coming to save us unless we draw our other Plow or our Teferi. 2 mana in the pool. What is this? It's just a Battle Mage. We might be able to outrace this. I'm trying to think of what we could even draw here. Like, I took Teferi out of the deck. Yeah, this comes down, and we at least have... Like, we can reproduce this, replicate it, so that we can counter their spells. And I'll probably just replicate the next thing they cast just because I don't want to take damage. Am I going to replicate that? Like... They're at one card. It sucks, but I think it's correct. This doubles our clock. All right. I can't believe we just did that. We just threw away our best card to stop like a 2-mana Grizzly Bear, basically. But that's where the game is. They don't have a lot of mana. And even if they draw big cards, they're still going to need to draw mana. I am going to fetch the Thin. I know it's a pathetic thing that like people will tell you don't ever do it, but I'm going to do it here. I'm going to grab a second island, I guess. All right. We could get up to Solitude before we die. I'm going to do this so I can at least surveil here. I'm not as worried about tapping down my land to back to basics. Now things are going to get real. Thought-Knot's here. Take it. Take whatever you want. Like Wendy's, have it your way. All right, now we take 2, but now the clock is pretty fast. So I'm looking for exactly Solitude off the top. And I am definitely willing to surveil to make that a reality. And that was not sponsored by Wendy's, by the way. I don't know why I said that. I just say random crap. Archive. I mean, this is a good card, but we're under the gun. I just can't do it. I can't keep this insane card. They're hellbent. We just need, like, this is the best card, but, like, to take a turn off and take 6. Come on, Solitude. We've already used 1. We've got 3 left. A Riddler would do fine here. Okay, Brainstorm. All right, let's just chill. We're going to take 6. But if we'd drawn that Consign, then we would have drawn the Brainstorm immediately afterward and we'd be dead, basically. We're probably still dead. They didn't cast the Reality Smasher before they attacked, which is nice. Reprieve. All right, this is Fetch the Thin. We've got 7 cards in our deck that like do something really good. Let's see if we can draw one of them. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think they have any way. Like I actually would love to like just trade in combat with this. So I'm going to chill and try to snipe it in combat. Because I would gain some life as well. That's scary. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. They need 7 to activate this. I don't believe they can Obligator at instant speed. That's another reason to do it the way I'm doing it. Because Obligator would be devastating. So let's hit this and then we'll block. We do not deserve to win this game just because that one little punt in the mulliganing decision. I did draw a dead card here. It is correct to just go and take this off the table. I know I can gain life every turn cycle, but I don't think it's correct to keep it around. Okay, wow. We're getting a reprieve. Come on. Good cards. Okay, that's a good card. I'm not going to complain about that. Because their next thing stopped, but if they keep playing land, they've got infinite things. My tummy just rumbled. I need to eat breakfast. I woke up at like 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about my punts from the night before. Reality Smasher. Let's not. In fact, I'm going to replicate an extra time just because I'm extra scared of this thing. I'm so glad that this works around Chalice. Like, can you imagine? And we're at a sprightly 10 life. We just need to not brick for a few turns. If we find the other prismatic ending, we're golden. They haven't done any damage to themselves. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and they have a very explosive deck. Force of Will, I will take it. I'm not too proud. Oh my goodness. They haven't drawn Cavern yet, which is a huge blessing. All right, they're not doing anything. Man, my stomach is rumbling nonstop. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, here we go. Go time, baby. Let's draw some cards. I could get an extra card by warping it for the first turn. Okay, I'll play that land out. And we still have force up. Now we've got a big creature. Obligator is terrifying because they actually get to take it from you, and it's a trigger. So if they have Obligator, that's going to suck. And that would be a card that they would hold. They scooped. Okay, we beat Eldrazi. Scoreboard. So we're 2-0. Again, the game against Breakfast was insane. I wish I captured the full thing. But trust me when I say that, like, we had Lavinia out, we had Teferi out. It was very intense and very fun, but we were firmly in control. I feel like this deck is, like, it feels solid. It feels great. All right, so we're up against an opponent who plays a variety of decks, but they were playing Oops recently. Let's take a look at the record. They always play Oops in freaking Legacy. They've been playing it a lot lately. As of 2 days ago, I'm going to mulligan this hand. It's a perfect hand in the sense that it's got Quantum Riddler. Like, this normally would be an insane combo, but we have no interaction whatsoever other than Solitude. And unless they, like, somehow, like, play the thing and don't have the mana to execute it, like, yeah, this is not a good keepable hand. This also is okay because we got Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'm just going to hold those Spell Pierce and pierce, like, literally anything, like a petal. And the card we'll put back is Back to Basics. Like, it is good late game, but there's not going to be a late game. I don't have confidence that it's going to do anything. And Phelia can come out and, like, actually threaten them a little bit. So we have lots of respect for Oops in the sideboard. We're going to bring in all 4 Force of Negations, but we're just lucky to be on the play here. I'll be disappointed if they're not on Oops because that's what they've been playing the whole time. I mean, it's possible that, like, this is the Pierce. I'm going to do it. It's crazy. I don't think I've ever pierced a Lotus Petal before, but that's how much I respect their ability to win on turn 1. I'd love nothing more than for them to not be able to win on turn 1, but I'm going to respect the fact that they can. Next turn, I'll have Tommy out, and I'll start drawing. Oh, they're pacting that? Okay, well, they've won deterministically. There's no way they wouldn't do that, like, if there was any risk of them not winning. So this is Dark Rit or Simian Spirit Guide. Wow. So I was 100% correct piercing that. If they hadn't had the pact, I could have stopped them. So we'll take a look at their deck real quick. Yeah, whine about Oops and stuff. It's part of the meta. I don't think it's, like, an insane win rate. It sucks to play against, but I'm just going to get used to it. I'm not going to be a whiner about it. But I can understand why people would be annoyed having to play against it. So let's just take a look at their sideboard. Make sure, like, their hand is empty. So I'm just going to go through it this way because, like, it's weird to look at it this way. I guess I could look at it this way. Okay, so what I'm saying here is they have packs, so they probably don't have a creature juke. That's something I learned from Echo Baronin. Like, the guy just randomly drops nuggets. Like, I'd never thought about that before. But yeah, you wouldn't want to play packed if you're trying to win through creatures. Lively Dirge is kind of an alternate win con. I don't see a Reanimate in here. That doesn't mean they don't have it in the sideboard. Belcher is not in here. They do have the Memory's Journey combo, but I've noticed that they've stopped playing the Jack-o'-lantern card. Like, I think maybe people realize it's not necessary if you have green. Summoner's Pact, this is a very aggressive version. This is trying to combo turn 1 every turn. So I think with that, we can presume that they win. Yeah, Thousands of goal. Dread Return. Yeah, good game. So they don't know much about our deck, but they know we're playing Spell Pierce. Okay, let's talk about what we do here. So first, Lavinia stops their combo cold. If we get to 2 mana, that's a very good card. Consign comes in. And then what I do is I'm going to take out Phelia completely. She's just not good enough. Solitude is turn 0 interaction, but we don't actually have that many white cards in the deck. We have to cut a lot of white cards. I think I'm going to cut the Solitudes, and because it's just so hard to cast Solitude. Like Plow, at least you can cast it, but Solitude, like, without white cards to support it. So I think this is the deck. Yeah, I'm going to present this. I'm not going to cut lands because a lot of times you'll get, like, a decent hand, but it doesn't have enough lands, and you struggle. I'm keeping Back to Basics in just because it's a blue card. If they have a creature juke, we still have 3 Plows in the deck. We're not completely cold to it. But I want to, like, I like to be as blue as possible post board. And right now we've got 23. So we've got 37 blue cards, which is quite a few. All right, so we're on the play again. This is a totally keepable hand, in my humble opinion, even though it only has one blue source. I'm just going to hope they go for it and that they can't keep up with us. And if they like slowly dirtle, it'll suck because they're going to be able to amass resources. But we have 2 points of interaction here, and like for turn 1. And even if we spend our Spell Pierce, we may be able to consign on the next turn. And they saw that we're blue, so they're probably going to want to like go faster rather than slower. I'm not actually sure. Like I've never, kind of like tried to put myself in the mind of a degenerate Oops All Spells player. Like the most degenerate of all combo players, essentially. Actually, I'd say like the Necrodominance combo is even worse because it's like totally glass cannon. But I've never really deigned to try to like empathize with them and understand like why they're playing what they are playing. But my understanding is like they do want to like the game doesn't get better for them, so they are going to try to end it. Bogart Bog, shocked. Okay, so they're going to try to do something now. Thoughtseize, I will pierce that. Okay, they paid for it. Well, this is bad. I'm going to force it. Because I need consign to get me where I need to go. So I'll pitch back to basics. They're not going to have the mana to go for it now. Okay. But that was pretty devastating, though. I mean, man, that was insane. We have to consign their trigger, basically. That was crazy that they could pay for that. Okay, shock. They don't. Okay, so now they're on the slow train, but they got our, card out of our hand. I am going to go ahead and Riddler here. I don't want to just wait around and do nothing. I'll just get a second blue source. Because if I can Narset, that's worth it. I don't think... I do think Plow is probably... Yeah. Narset could pitch to force. Plow can clear it if they have an imperfect turn. You could absolutely wait another turn, but I just want to get deeper into my deck and maybe find a force. Okay, so we're probably dead here. If they go for it, we're definitely dead, but they may need an extra turn. Uh-oh. Therapy. They're going to name Consign, I think. And unfortunately, we drew Plane, so we can't even Narset here. They named Force. Okay, so now they see the Consign, and they know they can't go for it for a turn cycle or two. And now we have an extra Consign, which is extra annoying. Oh my goodness, I should have fetched a freaking island. I would be like doing fine here. But I can't really tap out of blue. So Consign only affects one of the triggers. It only affects the one that it triggers on ETB. The other one's an activated ability. So we just have to get lucky and have them not have the one. Stark Ritual. Yeah, I'm not liking this. Summoner's Pact. Okay. So they're dead next turn, but we have to get through this turn. Wild Cantor. All right. They know about this, so yeah, there's nothing we can do here. They have perfect information about our hand. Nothing changed with the draw of that consigned memory. I have to assume that they have some line. And they can just sacrifice this, so plowing it doesn't do anything. Cabal Therapy. Naming consigned memory. Unfortunately. They're going to get a 2-for-1. And there was never a window where, like, even if I wanted to, I couldn't have plowed that. I didn't think they were going to do that, by the way. They did name Consign to Memory, so we're dead. They have exactly 4 mana. They can play out the thing they can activate. It's heartbreaking. Absolute heartbreaker. The fact that they could pay for my Pierce so inconsequentially made everything happen the way it did. Summoner's Pact again. I can't do anything about this. I don't know what they get. They probably just get an Elvish Spirit Guide. There we go. And now I can't force this because they have mana up. Or I couldn't plow. Yeah, man, this is devastating. Like, I feel like we had a really good hand, but that just shows you the strength of Oops All Spells. They have 1 card in hand. I will humor myself with, like, could they have screwed up? Maybe they're trying to get me to concede prematurely. They could have just, let's see. I see the Thassa's Oracle. Is the Dread Return in here? Yeah, it is. I'm going to just concede. I don't care to like watch somebody go to the thing. I am pretty sure it's deterministic. Heartbreaker. See you in round 4. And just a quick note, anybody who's like, oh, you shouldn't have forced the Thoughtseize. You need to force the Thoughtseize, otherwise they have the information that Consign is your only card, and Consign is extremely narrow. And I needed them to have some ambiguity as to whether I had an additional force or something like that, so they would slow down. But ultimately, they were able to cobble together a win anyway. So I don't think I misplayed there. But feel free to correct me in the comments if you've played against Oops All Spells hundreds of times like I have and experienced heartbreak. So many times. We're up against Flex Toast on the draw. I like Flex Toast. It reminds me of Powder Toast Man. It shouldn't, but Powder Toast Man always flexed. He said, cling tenaciously to my buttocks. If you haven't watched Ren and Stimpy, you're going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? Most recently on Delver, but that was a while back. I like our Delver matchup. This is a good hand. I'm going to keep it. Any hand with Tamiyo is a pretty good hand. And we have our lands underneath us, and we have Solitude to answer like a really powerful threat. Okay, Chrome Mox, they're on combo. We're going to get comboed 2 matches in a row. I have no turn 0 interaction here. If they just storm me out, it'll be sad. Oh, they're on this. Well, at least I'm going to have blue if they Blood Moon me. Chaos Adventurer. They take the initiative. I can't do anything. I'll just chill for this turn cycle. I'll wait until they put the counters on him. Yeah, I don't have... Like, Phelia would be great. Like... Yeah, I wasn't expecting initiative in 2025, even though I do have some leagues where I played with it during the garbage time while we were waiting for Entomb to get banned. Phelia! Our savior. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Tamiyo here, and then I'm going to Solitude this, and then I'm going to Phelia, and we're going to take the initiative before they totally go crazy with it. Yeah, Phelia was a clutch draw there. So they'll be in the archives by the time we take the initiative away from them, assuming they don't have yet another one. Okay, they're forging. So this is my moment. And unfortunately, the way Solitude works, we got a frowny face in the chat. The way Solitude works, you don't get an opportunity to like target her with Phelia. You need to use something at instant speed that can do that, like an ephemerate. Okay, so they forged there. We're going to take the trap. What is this? Another meanie? Oh, please don't be a freaking Blood Moon. I would be so sad. They have Magus. Oh, no. Phelia cannot save us anymore. I think we just lost unless we organically draw a plains. Like, they just have that nice organic plains over there. Yeah. So I am going to have to attack with Tamiyo to try to dig to the plains. That's actually a pretty good rip. Yeah, there's nothing to be done here. We just have to find the plains. And I could have like fetched out the plains there, and maybe I should have in retrospect as soon as I drew the Phelia, just not played this out. So I do think I punted and not just fetching. We'll wait and we'll do this later. Just get some more information. We do technically have Spell Pierce up if they do some sort of like card that we can Spell Pierce, which is unlikely, but it's possible. And I think Spell Piercing, a critical spell would be better than necessarily just drawing a random card trying to dig to white. So we have 3 plains in the deck. That's not terrible odds. So basically, like, we have 11 more cards before we're a third of the way into our deck. That's one way to think about it. We are drawing 2 cards a turn. We could draw a Quantum Riddler, and if we've amassed enough lands, but like we have to be very fast. We are losing life slowly, though. This doesn't do a ton of damage. And I can always hold this back if I need to shut off some of the damage. Flipping Tamiyo will be an option in like 2 turn cycles. Uh-oh, what is this? Well, that's precisely what I wanted to counter. Fable. That worked out great. Come on, Plains. Plains wins this. Teferi can't be cast, unfortunately. I'm gonna do another clue. Just dig deeper. It's not worth like giving up 2 damage. Or it's worth paying 2 life to draw an extra card. It's possible we find like a force. Oh, if we find Solitude, that's another thing. That would be insane. Okay, so they get an extra card here. And they're like definitely deterministically going to hit Throne. Actually, it is deterministic because I would have to pay 2 mana to correct the clue. So I like even if I drew Solitude, they're still going to Throne me. And I don't think I'm winning if they Throne. I'm going to try my best though. I'm not giving up. This entire game brought to us by the fact that I punted and didn't just fetch my plains and had to style on them with Teferi. I don't think it was like an obvious punt. I think a lot of people might have made that mistake. But they put one of these under there and like I knew it was a possibility and I still didn't respect it. It'd be great if we could give Tamiyo a way to do attack power, but unfortunately that's not possible in this deck. We don't have like Exalted or anything. Tamiyo is many things, but she is not a offensive creature. My opponent is screwed on mana too. Okay, Chrome Mox. So they are choosing to play out more mana. This could be another initiative creature to get them straight into the... and they had a third freaking Magus. Okay. So I need to counter this. See if we can do it. Force, please. Okay, that doesn't do it. I think we're like super duper ultra dead. Seasoned Dungeoneer. I think we can scoop it up here. Like, there's no way that I'm coming back from this, unfortunately. Ah. So that was turn 1 initiative creature. Or was that turn 1 initiative creature? Yeah, send me the Spirit Guide. Turn 1 initiative. Brutal. Okay. Think Wrath is okay. Can clean up some of their stuff. Prismatic Ending. They're probably going to have Chalice here. Hydroblast definitely comes in. So I'll bring in the blue elemental blasts. I think Wrath of the Skies is good because it hits Chalice as well. And then Prismatic Endings. Let's talk about what sucks. Spell Pierce. It was good there in that very narrow situation. Back to Basics is way too slow. I think Narset is pretty bad. Teferi is not totally bad. It pitches to all our different cards. I think I'd rather have Force Negation, but maybe actually Lavinia is okay because she could do combat damage. And she pitches to Force. Yeah. So like that's kind of how I'm thinking here. I could replace this with like a Force of Negation. I think Force Negation is more important than Spell Pierce because this can straight up counter even if they have a lot of mana. And I do want to counter Chalice. I do want to counter potentially even like a Mox, depending on how they're playing it. I don't think I'd counter a Mox, but I would want to counter Fable for sure. I think this is how we're running it. I'm very worried. We're getting put through the ringer this league. Man, we're getting some tough matchups. Nobody is just messing around with some brew. Everybody's playing like, brutal decks. This is a keep. And you know what? I'm going to fetch a freaking Plains here. I think I am. Yeah. And I'll just play with this. This can get an island if I need one. This can't. I'm going to play on basics just to respect their Blood Moon. I mean, like, they probably kept it in. They did see the 2 islands. Having Force is huge in this matchup. Specifically Force of Will. I brought in, like, I think 1 Force of Negation. Force of Negation is so much worse than Force of Will. It's crazy. Like, but I think if Control is going to continue to be a going concern long term, if they're going to keep printing these Fire Design, they need to print another Force of Will, like a functional equivalent that is as good as Force of Will. I don't think Force Negation is enough. Okay, that's bad news. Chalice of Void for 1. Unfortunately, I do want to use one of my Brainstorms. I think I just go get the Shockland here. And then next turn I can get a Plains. Yeah, I'm going to do it. It sucks to get a Shockland against the aggro, but I do want to Brainstorm. I can shuffle one of these cards away. I don't want to force this if I can avoid it, but maybe I should force it because we'll see how many 1-drops I find. If I find like a bunch of Plows, yeah, I think I am actually going to force this because they played this Chalice, this Cavern out. I can actually Phelia flip it. Yeah, I can just make it a 0-drop. I think that's a cool line. But that does involve me not doing well. Yeah, I think we'll Plow pitches too. Maybe man, it's really hard. It's really freaking hard. Because if I keep Force up, I can defend Phelia from like offensive maneuvers. I think that's correct. So what I'm going to do, I'm definitely not going to be casting Brainstorm anytime soon. But Brainstorm is probably better than Tamio here. And then I'll redraw this island. I'm going to fetch a Plains and I'm going to Phelia next turn. And it may seem crazy, but I've got Solitude pitching Plow. I've got Force pitching Brainstorm. I think it's fine. Like, your Force of Will is extremely valuable, even when they have a Cavern out, in my opinion. I don't want to just throw that away when Phelia can just reset it and actually turn it into an offensive piece, walking them off their 1-drops or 0-drops. They do have other like Moxen and stuff like that. So what I'm hoping to do is force something, Solitude something, Phelia, and then rip like the Quantum Riddler would be the nuts. But at the very worst, I can attack with Phelia, reset this. I love the optionality in our deck. I know I've been saying that a lot, but our deck just has so many options against the entire meta. The high basic count means we weren't completely dead there. We were still drawing to potential answers. Okay, do you have a thing to exile here? Oh, that? Okay, well, that's not a big deal. I'm not going to force this. I can't force it. So it's a good thing I didn't try. So what I could do... No, I was thinking like if I could push that out, but I won't have white mana. Oh, wait, actually I will have white mana. Check this out. So I'll just... I'll blank this out and then I'll plow before I can block. Yeah, I think that's the line. And then I get to keep my Solitude for late game where it's very useful. Come on, let's draw a white card. Okay, that's not terrible. I'll play this out. We're going to go ahead and attack. I'm going to blink this. I'm having so much fun. Phelia is such a fun card. And it's a terrifying card if you're on the other side of the table. Now we plow here. This just all came together so perfectly. And now I can even... I played my land for turn, which might have been a punt because now I can't brainstorm. I mean, I still can brainstorm, but it'll be an imperfect brainstorm. Had I not played this out, I might have been able to do something else. Yeah, I'll just chill. I think we're very far ahead now. They get their Chalice back. It is not effective against my deck at all anymore. They could absolutely have some insane creature that I won't be able to counter on the stack. But unless they also kill my Phelia, like if this is like a Fury or something like that, I'll force that. This only protects humans. If they have an initiative creature, I'm going to take the initiative from them and I'm never going to give it back. Seasoned Engineer. This comes into play and they get the initiative. It's actually better for me to wait for next turn to Solitude them. It's better to wait and brainstorm first because I want to make sure I see a white card. I can double brainstorm if I absolutely need to. Ponder is even better. Let's try this. Ponder first and then brainstorm. I just need to find a white card so I can get rid of this. Okay, and there we go. The best freaking white cards. These are insane cards. I'll just plow it. And I think we're going to win. I get to go get a basic... Well, I don't get to keep those cards because I'm going to take the initiative. I'm going to blink their Mox. So that is no longer going to produce mana unless I want to pitch yet another card. We'll take the initiative. Don't mind if I do, friend. Thanks for giving me the initiative. All right, we'll just get another Plains. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, if they have a Blood Moon and they shut us off white, yeah, I think we're so close to Solitude. And I'll just chill. Okay, you get your Mox back. Would you like to exile a card to it to get mana? No. Land Destruction Dog. All right, this is another big meanie. I'm going to brainstorm this turn cycle. They get to Forge because I want to actually cast the Solitude. Casting Solitude will be incredibly backbreaking for them. I can't counter this. I'll let it come in. I'll let them do their initiative thing. And then I'm going to just dig because if I find the mana for Solitude, I want to hard cast it. They are going ahead and venturing into this dungeon because they know I can like push this out of the way and hit them. So that's a savvy move. Okay, and they've taken the initiative from me. I'm going to brainstorm. If we find another plow, we're like super cooking, and we do. Holy cow. So I'll just plow this and then Riddler next turn. So sounds good. And I do want to draw this, and I will draw this. So at this point, Force is probably the card I don't care about as much. No, I'll put back Brainstorm, and I will draw this. And then I think they're probably just going to concede to this. Like they're so far behind now. Okay, they're not going to concede? Okay, that's fine. I will make them regret not conceding. Okay, actually I won't. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and just warp Phelia and just keep mana up. Let's get our second island here. Warp. So we'll get 2 triggers instead of 1, which is pretty nutty. Okay, land is fine. I'll attack. I'm going to buff my dog in the process. It's pretty insane. We're going to have a giant creature. I'm going to go ahead and forge onto Phelia just to make it a little harder because it'll be a 5 toughness with the forge. And then they can't fury it. All All right, we get our dude back. We're going to get a card. If it's a white card, which we did shuffle, but if it's a white card, then we have Solitude up as well, which I'm not worried about them having hasty beats. I don't think they have them. Yeah, there's 5/5. Okay, we just ripped a land. Yeah, and that was a heads up, like, observation. Like, I'm new to this card, but, like, warping it actually gave us an extra card, so it was absolutely correct to warp it. And, yeah. I don't know. We just played it. We would have gotten the extra card anyway because I would have blinked it. But okay, what is this card? Another Dungeoneer. Can't be countered. Okay, that's fine. I will be solituding that next turn for sure. You have the initiative back. You have an extra token. Lotus Petal. All right. Okay. Abandon Hope. Ye who enter here. Like, this is just going to be absolutely insane. Solitude. I again, like, it's kind of like the Deadpool. Like, when are they going to concede? They win. Okay. They win. I win. We win. Beat DBBX is the game. Okay, cool. By the way, if you're wondering what the DB is, it's just like Daybreak Games. They gave me this account, so I don't have to spend like 70 tickets on this. It's like some insane amount. So whenever I'm playing like some expensive ticket card that I'm not sure about, I can switch over to this account and use it. It's kind of like the all access thing, but it's like all the time. So if you're interested in getting that, consider publishing videos on YouTube. Like, the more content, the merrier, right? And then you can apply to the creator program. And that's what I did. I think you have to have 1,000 followers. So, and you have to meet some other criteria too. I can't talk about the like intricacies of that, but that's all public information. And I will say that I probably spent like $2,000 on MTGO at least, just buying the cards that I do have on my other account, which I prefer to play on because I actually get to keep the tickets. Okay, so let's see. I don't think there are any changes. We could bring in another Force Negation out of respect. Wrath of the Skies would have been really good there. They're not doing anything on our mana. Like, it is really tempting to just trim a land and bring in a Force Negation on the draw. I think I'm going to do that. And we'll still have 19 land in our deck. We shouldn't, in theory, get color screwed. It might be worth taking out Meticulous Archive. Sure. Maybe I take out an island. Like, well, if they Blood Moon, I mean, I want to have max basics. Yeah, I'll just cut one of these Tarns, I guess. Yeah, but I do think the second one, I mean, it may make all the difference. We'll see. The second Force Negation. Because if they get like a turn 1 Fable, that's backbreaking too. Okay, this is a good hand. This is a great hand. Phelia is exceptional against their deck because it moves the initiative creature out of the way unless you steal the initiative. But the downside of that is, of course, they get the initiative trigger again. So I'm going to hope that, like, I force the initial initiative creature. I fetch my basics. If they have Magus the Moon, I could just clear it with Solitude, but I'd probably want to force it. Okay, they put, what is this card? Is this the Beefeater? Oh, this is such a good card. I love Anointed Peacekeeper. I mean, it's a 3-mana play. It might be setting up something for next turn. If we let it enter, it can immediately name Solitude. I think I'm going to force this. That might seem aggressive, but like, it's possible they don't have other gas. They don't have red, tellingly. And when they play a land, this is going to die. So there's a huge temptation to just get an island and play this out. But if I get locked off of white, I don't think they're playing Blood Moon proper. I think they're just playing the things. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and play out the Tomio. It's a calculated decision, and it may burn me. But, you know, Solitude can clear that, and we can get some clues, and we can try to draw into our basics if they do Blood Moon Petal. All right, this is the big guy. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I do want to take the initiative from them. I'm going to see what they do here. I can get a white source. It may be correct to let them hit me once. I mean, I would love to just draw a plow and not have to think too much about this. It's worth noting that I can Tomio and Solitude in the same Tomio Clue Crack and Solitude in the same turn cycle. I think I'm going to Tomio attack Brainstorm and hope to find a plow. I also could find like Lavinia, for example. There are a few things I couldn't play her immediately. But playing this does shut off my ability. Like, they can just straight up murk her. So I will need to Solitude here. But let's go ahead and brainstorm first. I don't think there's any merit to playing out the land first. I mean, there could be some hidden thing that like I'm just not thinking about. Maybe I do want to play this out. I'll play the one that can fetch both basics in case I want to get blue, but why would I want to do that? Maybe if I got a Tamio, Ponder just to be able to efficiently use it. Yeah, I'll do this. Again, if I'm overanalyzing, like when your opponent is doing these kinds of things turn 1 or turn 2, it dramatically compresses the game. We're going to get there. We're going to plow this, and then we'll just Tamio the subsequent turn. Yeah, this is less good than Prismatic Vista is here. So I think I put these back. And I do want a third land next turn, but do I actually need it? Yeah. I'm going to assume that I'll need that land. Huh. Yeah, I think it'd be probably greedy to put back the land. I'll do that. Okay, so she flips. They could have... yeah, I think out of respect for them having the Touch the Spirit Realm, I do need the plow now. I know it sounds crazy, because now they're just going to go down the Lost Well. But they have the white mana face up, and I'll feel so dumb if that happens. They can't do it now. But they can flicker. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's really powerful. And the Lost Well happens after the draw. No, wait. It happens during upkeep. So they can manipulate their draw. Not just for next turn, but for this turn. They're going to prioritize Fury probably, or just another initiative creature, I imagine. Okay, Cavern does kill the city. I imagine they're going to tap the city, and then they're going to put another initiative dude out. And... if they don't keep drawing initiative dudes, it may make sense to just keep going north with Tamio. No, Tamio just regrows the plow. That's so good. And assuming they don't Blood Moon me, I can regrow the plow. I can kill this creature. They're deeper into the initiative. But then I have Phelia the following turn to take the initiative just in the nick of time before they go into the Throne of the Dead 3. And I can even take out their Cataclysm creature or the Catacombs creature. So I'm liking our position here. Like if they have Fury from hand, that'll be devastating. But then what else? Then they have no hand. Okay, so this comes in. They get the stash. They could also have like Pyroblast, but they're playing Chalice, so I presume they're not playing Pyroblast. But Pyroblast would be very good here. Okay. All right, Lavinia is something we can definitely play out. I think we probably play her this turn instead of Phelia. I'm sorry, Tamio is freaking busted as heck. You cannot convince me otherwise. This is insane. So we get another white. This necessarily stops Fury, which is very nice. If they have Solitude, that's very good against us. They don't have the mana to cast it, though. And now I can just Solitude their creature. Oh, actually, you know what? This can block. I will have to Solitude this. I should have Phelia'd. I think Phelia was the superior option here. And if they have a creature, I actually can't take the initiative because of this. Oh man, I freaking punted so hard not playing out Phelia. That's really embarrassing. Cage of Chaos Adventurer. This puts him in the throne. So yeah, we're gonna lose, even though I think like this was a punt, but yeah. Damn it. Yeah. Tragic. It's put into play, it's not cast. So unfortunately, yeah, put it in the battlefield. And it might be another initiative, it might be a Fury or Solitude or any number of things. I'm disappointed that I lost this game. I do think Phelia like could have easily been killed by whatever is about to kill our Lavinia, though. I feel pretty confident. Let's see. Magus to the Moon, Solitude. Yeah, Solitude. They just put Solitude out. So it wouldn't have really... Well, but Phelia would be coming in the end step. Yeah. We still have 16 life, but they restart the initiative. They can go get a land here. They grab plains. They don't have attacks. What could we draw here that would be relevant at all? I can't think of anything. I mean, Phelia number 2, but we're going to die, I think, here. They're hitting... This is trample damage. So now I can Solitude 1. I can Solitude the big dude. And I can... and I debuff everything. Yeah, I think that's how I do it. Like, I presume they're going to attack with everything. And then I Solitude the big guy. And then I take 5. And then Phelia comes out. She blinks his token out of play. We get the initiative. I don't think it's enough, but I'm going to try it. If they ignore Tamio can regrow a plow for the other one. I can't do anything about this, unfortunately. They may even have another initiative creature. So this is 6. It's 11, but it gets debuffed. Let's see if they attack Tomio. I think they try to attack me for lethal. And they can exile stuff and do these things. It's crazy. You can cast these for free now that you've been through the initiative. This card is insane. All right, let's see what they do here. Ancient Tomb. Okay, what's the other card? Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Like, they can still cast it, and it's still a pain. So we'll take out the big guy, give him a ton of life, and then these are all attacking me. No respect for Tomio. She gets no respect. All right. Let's Solitude here. Pitching Phelia. Take out the big guy. Yeah, I think that that other guy is going to come down and be a pain for us too. So we're taking a lot. I'm not going to block here. I need the creatures. Yeah, so this guy they play out trades. They may have something even worse. Wait, what's happening? No, man, oh, yeah, it gets countered. That's great. Wait, why would that work? How did that counter that? They spent mana. I guess they couldn't spend mana. Wow. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Are we going to win this? That would be absolutely insane if we could win this. I do not believe for a second that we can win this, but we might be able to win this. We're at 7. Quantum Riddler. Holy guacamole. That's an insane card. So we plow here. This has menace. We can't block it, but we'll have a giant freaking Riddler. This actually would trade with the Riddler. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to definitely go get the plow. I'm going to take out the Caves of Chaos Adventure. That thing needs to die. Bye-bye. Now, I think I do go ahead and just assume that they're not going to have a hasty beat here. And I just riddle to get a card deeper into my deck, but I do want to take this out. It's very dangerous. This will be a 4/4. A Fury can kill this. I think they're playing Solitude instead of Fury. People don't usually play both. But I could draw like tons of cards. I might draw a Solitude. I'm going to go ahead and warp this in and see what I draw. And then we'll make decisions. If I draw 2 cards, if I draw a Solitude and a white card, it's insane. Unfortunately, this doesn't line up. Excuse me. But, I take the initiative. I get to look for a freaking land. I'll go get a plains and then I can plow this. That's so sick. Right? I haven't made a land drop here. I get to make the plains and I don't have the initiative at all. So I go in the first dungeon, which gives us the land. Yeah, I'm going to attack them. I mean, I could keep this back. This is like not important to the long-term thing. And if they have something that jumps in at the, like anything with haste, I think I keep that back out of respect. But I do need to get them dead. All right, I'm doing it. So we get the initiative. We go get a plains. This has been an insane game. Absolutely bonkers. I love initiative, by the way. Like, I know everybody complains about it. Like, I think aggro needed that kind of shot in the arm. I'm going to plow now so that when it comes in, I get like a bunch of cards. So we get 2 cards here. And we get a giant body. Absolutely nutty. A Solitude, please. Solitude white card. They said strong comeback. You're telling me, dude. I can't believe I'm still alive. Okay, prismatic ending. Not terrible. They're at 42 life. We've got an uphill battle. They can take the initiative. They can trap me. I need to gain life. They said, should I have Solituded the Lavinia? I don't think that's right. Yeah, they don't have double white for Solitude. I can't remember if Solitude's in their hand. Oh, wait. Actually, they're talking about when they were ultimating. I want to dismiss all these. I don't know what's in their hand. They could have attacked Tomio as well, but wanted to put pressure on you. Your plays make sense. I would have just tried to get me dead. I mean, like, let's say, like, I would have died to trap next time they cast an initiative creature. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and buff our Lavinia, I think. I am going to go down the trap line. I think my opponent has given up. Like, they're chatting a lot, which is a good sign for us, but So we'll forge onto Lavinia. That way we can, potentially plow Lavinia. Like I would love to draw a plow just so I'm not in danger of dying. Solitude would be the best draw because then I could just play that and that answers their thing and it gives me lifelink. I just want to get my life total higher. Okay, so let's draw for the turn. Okay, so we have force up. I will probably kill this. I'm going to go ahead and attack all. What am I blinking? I don't want to blink Riddler. I can't blink this clue. Maybe I just blink this. Yeah, I think I do that. And I'm just going to try to get them dead before they draw some crazy series of cards that screws me. Back to basics would be good, but it's not in my deck. I don't want them caverning multiple turns in a row. That would suck. Okay, so I can play this out. I now have Hardcast Force. I can crack the clue if I need to. I don't really think I even need Hardcast Force because if I force something like that puts me so low in cards that I could just... Yeah, I need this Solitude for sure. I'll take the Brainstorm this turn and then I'll Hardcast the Solitude. And then I would love to force something so that I can draw 2 cards off of Riddler. Again, Riddler is such a kind of poorly designed card in my opinion because it just makes it kind of unfun and uninteresting. Once you have the Riddler going off, there's just no reason to really do anything. Like you can just play totally sloppy and Riddler will just carry you. So something that I can force would be great here. They scooped. Okay, wow, I can't believe we won that one. That was crazy. Crazy games, Flex Toast. Powder Toast Man. You'll always be Powder Toast Man to me. Final round, we're up against a combo gamer. A lot of show and tell. Not a good matchup for us, unfortunately. I like this hand. It doesn't have a force, but Riddler... we had the Tamio Brainstorm combo. We have to keep this. These have been some beautiful hands. Bolstered by the fact that we get to play these beautiful basics. I'm just so enamored with his planes. Thank you, Mike Plug, for creating this beautiful piece of art. I'm just going to do the degenerate thing and stick my Tamio. And if they are show and tell, even if it's mono blue, sometimes you can get the Mysterized Village or something under back to basics. It's not a dead card by any means. Island. Okay, I'm getting Omnitel vibes. They played in the past. I will go ahead and attempt to flip Tommy here. Holy guacamole, that's a good card against them. That's a great rip. Well, I'm going to play this out. I can't. I would have to... Man, it's actually kind of unfortunate because I do want to shuffle my Brainstorm. I don't think they play Daze, but it would be so terrible if they were to just Daze it. So I'm going to play this, and I might have to shock. I might not actually cast Back to Basics with their basic island. I am worried about Mysterized Village, but they still get to use the Mysterized Village once. And I am going to Brainstorm here. I need to find forces. Narset is incredible against their deck, though. Okay, Archive goes back. I think Plow goes back. We did find another Brainstorm. Tommy flips. No interaction on our opponent's part. Well, plus, we will chill. We can get a Surveil in the end step, and then we can jam either Narset or Back to Basics. But I'm worried about this turn cycle because they just Ancient Tomb, they got us. Okay, wow. We're lucky. And Back to Basics is looking pretty terrible here, but Narset is delectable. So Archive. I'm so happy to be playing Narset again. Phelia is fine, but she's not what we're looking for. We're looking for blue spells. I'm going to keep going north with Tommy. Yeah, there's no way I'm jamming Back to Basics here. I think this is almost certainly going to get forced, which will leave us extremely vulnerable. But it's too good to not try. Also, I got the awesome anime Narset. Love this art. Impulse. Okay, so I haven't seen this card in a while. Are they on freaking reset? High Tide Reset? I guess maybe this is played. Although, also, I know he's reaching for scrolls, but it looks like he's reaching for little jagged bars of gold, and it's so cool looking. I love the art on this. I think the odds of Narset not getting countered are extremely low. I was correct. And now we're super duper dead. if they combo, but they may respect the fact that we could have a force and just wait a turn or two. But if they don't, we're super duper dead. Force is by far the best draw because we have Riddler to reload if we go really low. I will play Riddler, I guess, as my card if they show and tell here. Stock up. Oh, thank goodness. Stock up is like, it's kind of like Ponder. When your turn one opponent ponders, your Delver opponent, you're like, it's a sigh of relief. When your turn 3 opponent decides, Omnitel opponent decides to stock up, it's a huge sigh of relief. They may have something to bounce this back to hand. Let's find a force. Oh no, Phelia, come on. I think we brainstorm and shuffle. I really don't like this back to basics against 3 islands. Oh my goodness, Spell Pierce, is that the best we can do? Phelia goes back to basics, go back. Fetch, get an island. We're gonna riddle me this. If they have and we can cast this out of warp later, I don't think it's gonna matter. Phelia, we can't get rid of you. It's like the dog, you keep trying to send it away, but it keeps coming back, right? All right, I'm gonna just go with freaking Spell Pierce as my only interaction. I can put Phelia in, and if they like for some crazy reason pass the turn, Phelia can maybe win it, but like they're not gonna give us a chance that we're about to ultimate. Like what I'm thinking is they might try to sink into super this, and we can Spell Pierce that, but it's not gonna work. But we did a good job of like threatening here. Yeah, and now they can actually pay for it if they go for the card. Holy guacamole, you're not gonna do it? You're just gonna let me draw? I think maybe they're waiting to interact on my turn. Okay. They do have the sink in the super. I'm going to hold my Pierce. I figured this was the case. It's fine. Brainstorm. So options. One, we just play Tamio. We just flip her and we just get back to it. We do have Phelia we want to put away. I don't think she's good enough. Sorry, dog. I didn't mean to be too brutal. I shouldn't have said that with an earshot of her. Let's go ahead and do the flipper again. All right, we got 2 cards that go back. And now I am pretty priced into just pondering here. I really, and I'm really glad I grabbed an island there. I really need to find a force here. Double Phelia. Sorry, dogs. Okay. All right. We might survive. We might. That is a big M at the beginning of that. They did go down a card on the sink. Okay. 5 mana in the pool. Thought Lash. You're playing this card? So they're on the paradox thing where they exile their deck. It's good to know. Okay, we stopped the big bad reserve list card, and they could have just played out an Ancient Tomb. That's got to feel bad. So Spell Pierce is off forever. School's out for the summer. School's out forever. We definitely don't want to draw Spell Pierces. So we did shuffle. We should have fresh cards coming. All right, that's a blue card. I'm just going to keep going north. I would like to pick up another force. I think I ponder first just to see what I find. I could Quantum Riddler here and draw a card, but I mean, that puts a threat on the table. I'm going to go ahead and ponder. Like, Tamio will end the... Oh, this is great. Phenomenal. I'm just going to go ahead and Riddler now, just to get deeper into my deck. I don't think they're playing Spell Pierce. If they are, then they got us. And we draw a Riddler here, or we draw a force. So we've got double force up. And then I'm going to plus. I'm going to kick it over to them. Man, Riddler is an insane card. Like, I mean, Merc would have ended the game by now, but still, it's like, it's nice to draw cards. I like drawing cards. It has been said about me. Okay, they are stepping through. They're going to go get their, one of their mini wizards, probably like a Snapcaster if they have that. Thassa's Oracle. Okay, that makes sense. That's their win con. Thought Lash. No, thank you. I'll pitch one of my mini Tamios. I can pay for Spell Pierce. Okay, that's good. I'm going to regrow that force. I'm not going to try to ultimate. I'm going to play out a Riddler here. They have tons of interaction, but is it enough? I'm hoping it's not. You're going to play that as a creature? Sure. That's fine. Just to surveil. I don't believe they have like any instant speed, split second thing that they can do to win from here. I think those Thought Lashes were essential. They probably have like 4 of these. This is reserve list. It's so frustrating because I love like the art, of course, Mark Teeden, and then the unique mechanics of this card. It's like a Lurin or something like that. It's just like one of those awesome cards that will never be reprinted because a bunch of babies started whining about their collections. All right. Yeah, screw those people that are like, maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you're like, I'm going to retire with my dual lands and stuff. Like, look at Sol Ring. That card has been reprinted literally, I don't know, like dozens and dozens of times. And an alpha Sol Ring, a beta Sol Ring, those are still worth a fortune. Those are still worth like $1,000, I think. Okay. People will still buy the fancy alpha and beta stuff, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so here, same thing. Let's just go get our force. Well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play out Riddler and see what I draw first. And I'm going to fetch before I do that. Just to, yeah, I'll go ahead and play it up. And I'm playing the one from Warp. Okay, we draw. I don't think we know what we're drawing. Oh, that's a freaking insane card. Now I'm going to go get a force. And we are batting down the hatches. I don't care about winning. Like this will kill through combat in like 2 turn cycles. And they're tapping their Ancient Tombs a lot. Got double force up. Next turn we have Teferi coming down and like completely raining on their parade. They know about at least 1 force. And again, like if you are one of those collectors that has a huge collection and you want to do a solid for the community, step forward and be like, hey, I'm cool with you like loosening the reserve list. Sure, that is not a big deal. Oh, they're going to return that to hand? Yeah, sure. I don't care. I'm about to stick to Fairy. All right. I can just get my Surveillant out or my Shockland out of my deck, so I don't take the damage later. I don't think it matters. They scooped. Yeah, we had it. Like we had it so covered. Okay, this is a really cool matchup. I'm glad to showcase this on the channel. Again, it would be a no reserve list deck if Thought Lash weren't reserve list. And I don't think you can build the deck without Thought Lash, unfortunately. So Back to Basics comes out for sure. Force Negations, like let's get all those in here. Let's get Lavinia in here. Consign can stop the win. I think we just take out all of our creature removal stuff. I think I'm going to take out Phelia. And then maybe I just bring the Back to Basics back in. I mean, it's not inconsequential. And we still have 3 plows. But that like maxes the blue cards. This is my anti-combo stance. And a lot of people look at my sideboard and they're like, why do you have 4 freaking Force of Negation? Nobody plays Force of Negation. And I tell you, nobody plays as many leagues as I do and plays against combo every round, every other round, right? I think we did actually play against some fair decks there, though. Okay, and this is how quickly can they win? And this hand's fine, but I don't feel... not feeling it. Like, I want multiple forces. Maybe this is greedy of me. I mean, Consign does stop the win, but yeah, I'm going to respect the fact that they have Ancient Tomb in their deck. This is a keep. This may seem like, what's the difference between this and the previous hand? But at least we've got like something, like assuming I get a turn, I'm going to Island, Ponder. They're probably going to respect the fact that I probably have, 6 forces in my deck, maybe not 8, because again, like almost nobody plays 8. That sucks that we drew that. All right, I'm just going to Ponder and try to find a force. And another lane would be fine too. But I will chill. Okay, this is fine. Back to Basics, not what I'm looking for. I'll take both of these lands. And then we'll work toward Teferi. Next turn, we have Spell Pierce and Consign up. If there's the next turn. I don't think they can win turn 2. They're like a slow and steady combo deck, kind of like a Learn, which there will never be a no reserve list Learn deck. There will never be a no reserve list Phyrexian Dreadnought deck, unfortunately. These are decks that I absolutely love, but we just have to accept. Wizards made its bed and all the players have to sleep in it. Just because some people got freaked out about Chronicles. This is not a Spell Pierce. And Chronicles was the set. You're reprinting my Rare Legends cards? Like, oh my goodness. Reprints. Who would have thought? Like, Can you imagine like a comic book company just saying, we're never going to reprint this in any capacity. I am going to pierce this. Yeah, this is going in the graveyard. I shuffled, but it still was on top of the deck. It's only in there to be a blue card. All right. I think they might get scared at Teferi. They might get scared. They're tapped out. Teferi is a freaking haymaker. We can immediately draw a card. I think it's better to Teferi here than it is to Ponder. But if they force and then they go for it, we could lose. So, scary time. White, but I am going to do this. And call me extremely greedy for doing this. But like this card is so bonkers against them. They force. Okay. So now they could go for it. If they get the other card, then like our only protection is consign on the trigger. But they probably won't be able to do both in the same turn cycle. Unless they have a pedal. They might be scared to go for it because we haven't forced anything. And they have forced. Okay, they're going for Thought Lash. So next turn they can win, but we do have double consign up. So I can't really tap out of double consign. Oh my goodness. Come on. I don't want to freaking draw these damn plows. Yeah, this doesn't help at all. So my thinking is we probably Ponder, try to find an island. I think it's worth it. And we might find a force along the way. I have force along the way. Love it. So we have force negation and replicate. I think this has to do. I do want this land, but brainstorm is insane, actually. I could brainstorm here, and then my hand would be way better. Yeah, I think I'm going to just brainstorm now. It would really suck if they countered it, but I need to take that risk because my hand is so terrible. If they just have Spell Pierce, it's catastrophic. But like we're so much better off if this brainstorm works. Okay, thank goodness. Wow, look at that hand. Look at the improvement. What a difference a brainstorm makes. All right. So you have the ability to exile your entire deck. I can never beat you through combat damage. I mean, I could. It would take forever. Defense grid. That's scary. But luckily, consign stops it. So I will be, if they put something like a defense grid in, I will be replicating the consign. Okay. They're going for it. They're going for it. Stock up. Let's think about this. We can say no. They've got one card in hand. I think we do say no. I'll pitch a consign to memory. Okay. And I think that probably brings their turn to an end. They would be crazy to keep going with one card in hand if it's just the Oracle. I am highly likely to draw a blue card here and have 2 points of interaction up. Impulse, that goes. That's a 1-for-1. So they didn't have the combo. I'm wondering why they started exiling cards. Did they know? Maybe they knew from like a brainstorm. All right. That is kind of cool that you can clear your own brainstorms with that. So let's get an island here. Lavinia. That's a good card. That is a good card. Now they can't force back. Okay, they're starting to exile stuff. Why? Why are they exiling? What are they doing here? Is this Dismember? You still have to pay the life. Oh, Wizard Cycling? That's fine. So they have the combo, but there's no way they're beating Consign. So they would need to have something else going on here. I will let them exile their graveyard or their library if they want to, but they should wait. Chalice on 1 doesn't change anything. That's fine. It is cool that they can be a combo deck and do that. Okay, so I'll just consign this trigger and then it'll be stuck in play, but they won't die. Oh, they will die. I'll just wait till these clear and then I can sign with Replicate. This is beautiful. By the way, I love the art. Mark Teaton's art splayed out for the final game of the league. This has been a beautiful league. We're 4-1 in it. Unless I'm like completely missing like something about this. I definitely applaud my opponent for playing like this cool deck. I saw one like this do really well in Japan a while back. Like basically I have to have the consign, but unfortunately for them, I do have the consign. They do not, actually the game's not over. So I can always yield 2 cards named Thought Lash. Let's do it. They're going to die very quickly. But I'm not yielding to the Thassa's Oracle, importantly. Consign with Replicate. Target that. Okay. First one gets countered. Yield to all. Same targets. So I think they do die due to cumulative upkeep. They can let it go. If they have exactly one left in their deck. Let's see. Do they have any left? Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle. This is the last one. So unless they have like a way to blink this, I think we just won. All right. There's no point in attacking or doing anything. I'll just chill. I've got Force up. One card left in the deck. Is it a blink effect? It doesn't matter because I've got Force. These were great games. It's a really cool deck. Again, I would love to play it on the channel, but if I want to play a deck like that, I want to play like no reserve list because everybody loves the no reserve list. It's really hard for me to justify playing non-reserve list stuff. Like I played like the freaking $12,000 Europox deck, and that was a blast just to change it up. What I'm playing in person, if you're curious, I'll show you a link. Like I'm playing a completely different deck in paper. This was a huge success of an experiment. I like Pokemoki's list too, but it's so cool that you can do something that's like no reserve list. You just go 4x everything basically, except for your planeswalkers, and you can win. So this is what I'm playing in paper. And if you're playing paper and you have access to these cards, it's very expensive, obviously, because it's like tons of duels and stuff. Actually, let me check this out. I can show you the visual stacks. So check this out. It's so fun. And I know like you're like, I didn't come here to see your fancy deck, but like I've got everything retro bordered. Everything's FBB. It's like super sweet. And like, you know, I'm somebody who probably would not have gotten into Legacy if I knew that I was going to be spending, you know, $8,000, $9,000, like $8,000 is what they're saying here. And I'm not even sure if you like Underground Sea FBB by itself is like $2,000 right now. It's crazy. Tropical Island. I actually only have 3. I need to get a 4th one. I'm not sure that I need to get a 4th one. It's a lot of money. I'd have to justify with my wife. Got the Bayou in here, but it gets to play these 2 surveil lands, and it doesn't play Wasteland. And the only interaction is stack interaction and Force, and then Witherbloom Command and Thoughtseize. But what I did was because in paper, you can just demonstrate an infinite loop. It's not like freaking MTGO where you've got to click 400 times. And that's not an exaggeration. That's like 400 times is probably about how many times you need to click to win with the learn if they make you do it. And it takes sometimes like 8 minutes. So if you're down on clock, you can easily lose just because your opponent like, oh, I'm going to F6 and go make a sandwich and watch you die, right? So the big innovation here was realizing that in paper, I only need 1 Orcish Bowmaster. So I can play 4 Thoughtseize and 3 Witherbloom. And then like I have 9 cards that I'm drawing to that win the game outright, right? Like let's say I have Baleful, or I have Cavern Harpy and I have a Learn. That's the combo, right? I get to cast spells for instant speed. And let's say I have that, then I can just like put Cavern Harpy on the stack, and then it doesn't matter if they have removal. They have to have stack interaction. Exactly. Or they have to have some way to instant speed remove a Learn while Cavern Harpy's on the stack. But if they do that, then you can just Cavern Harpy again. So I got into this match last night. Story time. You're sticking around for the stories, right? Leave a comment if you actually stayed for my story, because I learned so much from playing this in paper. This is a great deck to play if you want to learn about Magic, and also if you want to learn about like playing combo, because this is not oops all spells where you're like, maybe they have it. Like you're waiting 4 turns before you can resolve your combo, and you're trying to interact, disrupt. You're trying to gather information through Thoughtseize. You're trying to decide whether you need to use Force to stop their target, their threats, or to defend your combo. You know, a lot of times you can win through Uro. He's a 4x Uro deck. So I'm up against 12 post, very experienced 12 post. This guy has been playing 12 post for like years. He plays the green version, and he's got like Elvish Reclaimer's terrifying card. And he can like do Dark Depths in addition to cast Emrakul. It's like, it's an abomination of a deck, but he's extremely good at it. Right. And so I am like, all 4 of my Allurans are in the bottom 10 cards of my deck, right? So like the game has gone really long. I Thoughtseize him, he's got Emrakul in hand, right? And I get rid of that. So his hand, but that actually happened later. So what happened was nothing was happening. He was just sitting there with like a whole bunch of mana, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of terrifying. I finally find a Learn. I've got a Baleful Strix on the table. I have been sifting through my deck, and I actually have been discarding cards every turn due to like just drawing extra cards with Uro and stuff, which they keep Karakas-ing back to my hand because, of course, they're playing Karakas as well. So I don't have a path to victory through Uro. And finally, I'm like, okay, I finally drew my Alluran. It's go time. But I've discarded one of my Cavern Harpies. I'm like, two's enough, right? So I play Alurin. And then he's like, okay, cool. I'll play Reclaimer Sage or whatever. It's like a destroy target. And I'm like, okay, cool. With that on the stack, I'm going to cast Cavern Harpy. Or actually, like, I think I put my Cavern Harpy on the stack first. And then he's like, oh, I'll cast Force Negation, targeting your Baleful Strix and Alurin. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to respond by forcing that. And then he's like, I'm going to respond by casting, or by using the ability of Boseiju to kill your Alurin. And so I'm like, oh, damn, I can't respond to that. Alurin goes away. My 2 Cavern Harpies, or then, like, I guess my Force resolves, and then the Reclaimer, or like a Rex Sage, I didn't let it resolve. I should have let it resolve, but because it didn't resolve, because I like the ability, I didn't go after the Rex Sage. I tried to like beat it on the stack with my Cavern Harpies, thinking like surely they're not going to be able to answer 2 Cavern Harpies, because once Cavern Harpy resolves, when you have a Alurin out, the game is over basically. In like 90% of the cases. But what happened was, because I had responded to the cast trigger of the Rex Sage instead of letting it resolve and then letting it target Alurin, they got to kill my Baleful Strix at the end of because it's an artifact. So I'm sitting here like bouncing my artifact dies, my Cavern Harpies come in, they bounce themselves back to the hand. It was like really embarrassing. And I'm not sure if you're following all that. I'm trying to verbalize it, but basically my point is, have as many Cavern Harpies as you can. Never discard a Cavern Harpy. If you can have 3 Cavern Harpies in hand to be safe, don't, think that your opponent's not going to have some really cool way to interact with you. So this is a great combo deck if you want to play it. Again, costs like $8,000, but it is a blast to play this deck. This is by far my favorite deck to play in Legacy. And I play a lot of decks. The deck that I played today was an absolute blast. Let's take another look at it. I don't have any changes that I'm going to make. Like, I'm really happy with this. Wrath of the Skies came up. It took out our opponent's Urza Saga. I think playing 1 Wrath of the Skies instead of playing 3 Prismatic Endings is fine. But if you're playing against a lot of Delver players and a lot of Blue-Black Tempo players, you probably do want to play a Prismatic Ending. It's a really solid card. And even in 2 colors, I think it's good. But we didn't have trouble getting double white usually. I will point out that had our mana base just been like a bunch of Tundras, this would be way easier, frankly. Like, there were lots of situations where I was like, oh, we don't have enough of this color. We don't have enough of that color. Like, let's say, like, okay, what would this deck look like if you were to just make it like a non-reserve list? Let's say you do have the budget. All right, so this would be an absolute upgrade, in my humble opinion, because Tundras are just like so reliable. Like, what you need to do is you need to have like 14 blue sources, or maybe 15 or 16. And we could do that. We could have 16 initial blue sources. Check this out. So we've got the 4 Tundras, the Archive, we've got the islands. The only non-blues would be 3 Wasteland. Yes, we can add Wasteland now. And a Plains. And you might be like, well, what about Back to Basics? Back to Basics is not anywhere near as good as just having Wasteland in your deck. Even if you're not going to fire off the Wasteland is so much more flexible than Back to Basics. Back to Basics, like, and you could say, well, what about the situation where your opponent blood moons you and stuff like that? Like, yeah, but you can play Days and dramatically reduce the likelihood of that because you have a higher blue count. And so you could split the Spell Pierces and the Dazes to 2 and 3, or you could even go like 3 Days and 1 Spell Pierce if you wanted to. And I do actually think that's way better, because Days can hit lots of stuff when you're tapped out. It can protect your Phelia. It can stop Bowmasters when you're brainstorming. It can do all kinds of stuff. Days is an insane card. And it would still be a control deck, but you could run a couple Murktide so you could actually end the game if you're up against like Eldrazi or something. And Eldrazi has a very hard time dealing with Murktide. We saw the opponent, with the Eldrazi opponent that we faced, that we beat, like, they would not have been able to deal with a giant Murktide, I don't think. Like, so, and Murktide comes out faster than you would think. Sideboard changes, you don't need to change anything. You can still play Wrath of the Skies. It's way easier to cast Wrath of the Skies now that you have Tundras. So I just want to emphasize, like, even though I do lots of no reserve list decks, they're to get you into the format. I do think long term, if you want to play like super competitive, you probably do want to play like Dual Lands. And again, I will continue to petition for Wizards of the Coast to do away with the reserve list, because there are only, maybe like 1 million dual lands, like of each dual land in circulation. It's a pretty low number. and it just doesn't support the player base that it wants to. And then a lot of the people are just hoarding them. And EDH players are now, why are Tundra so much more expensive than it used to be? It's not because of the legacy players. It's certainly not because of the vintage players. It's because of EDH. So but this would be my version if you have, and I'll put a link to this in the video description as well, like kind of like the air quote powered version of this, even though it's just adding a few Tundras, which shouldn't be a big deal, but are a huge deal. And this, you can still play 20 lands, but you can play some Wastelands. Again, super flexible. You can still play the Surveillance. You can still play 3 basics. I don't think you need to go above 3 basics. But, you could even go down to 2 basics, like Blue-Black Tempo, and just kick this up to another Wasteland. But I don't think that's our jam. Like, what is called air quotes Blue-Black Tempo is actually a mid-range deck like this one is. And frequently, that deck does get up to 4 or 5 mana and start hard casting Force. So, but this, you do want to get up to mana, so you're going to be slightly less likely to waste. You're really just going to be wasting, like, Caracas would be a great card to waste when you're playing Phelia and Tamio. Obviously, really, like, being able to waste their critical planar nexus and stuff like that is going to definitely improve your matchup. But I don't think Null Rod needs to be played right now. And I know Affinity, like, won Eternal Weekend, but I don't think Null Rod is where we need to be. We need to be on Consign, because Consign is so much better against the Post decks, Karnforge decks, and it was incidentally clutch in that final round against just a rogue blue, Exile deck. I don't know what to call it. So Blue Wizards. So this was a blast of a league. I'm so happy Lavinia pulled so much weight here. She was great, especially against the Initiative deck. I can't believe that game 3 against the Initiative, that was the highlight of the entire league. This was just an insane Stellar League. It's a bummer that Oops ruined our trophy, but that happens. I'm going to keep grinding with this list. I'll probably play the powered version and the unpowered version. Leave comments with timestamps or just comments in general if you like this type of gameplay. I know it's dirtily as heck. This is a long-ass video. Hopefully you're watching on double speed. It got you through your lunch break. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.